Hi everybody, Eve here for another Eat with Eve session. Today I cook my own food and I really hope you could join us. What we're going to be talking about today is something really interesting. I mean, you've heard of clean eating, you've heard of paleo eating, low carb, low fat, vegan eating. Today what we're going to be talking about in this session is honest eating. So I hope you could grab something to eat, or you could wait, you could pause this video and wait until you have your meal so you could have a meal together. I love eating with you. I love hearing about what you're eating with me. So let's get started. So to get us started, actually what I brought today is a candle. So some people ask me sometimes how to center themselves before their meal. So if you're having a very busy day and you have a lot going on, sometimes doing something that helps you come into the present moment could be a great way to help you get grounded into the present moment. And so that was kind of redundant, but I think you know what I mean. And so today what I want to do is to light a candle here. So I like to light a candle, again, if I'm feeling really stressed or hurried and I want to feel present in my senses. Something about the candle light is very relaxing to me, very romantic. Even though I eat most of my meals alone these days during quarantine, I still like to bring in some light and some specialness to the meal. So as I do this, I like to set my intentions for the meal, and I hope you join me right now in setting your intentions for the meal. If you want, you could grab a candle too, and we could light our candles together. And so the intention I'd like to make today is to have a great time, to share some of the thoughts I have with you. I think you'll really enjoy talking about honest eating. I want to enjoy this meal I prepared, especially for this video. I want to be present with you in having this conversation. I want to be present in my body. I want to notice my satisfaction. I want to be present with my food that's so full of flavors and ingredients. I'll tell you about what I'm having in just a minute. And obviously, I want to save the lipstick, you know. Let's have that as a running intention whenever I'm eating with food. How about you? Take a moment right now to set your intentions, whether you're having a meal or a snack, or even if you're not eating and you're just following along. Take a moment to make your intention of what you want to get out of this video. What do you want to get out of our time together? So, well, let's get started. I also made my own lemonade. Well, actually today it's a limeade. I'll tell you what's in it. I used about the juice of 1 lime and somewhere between a teaspoon and a tablespoon of sugar and cool water. I love that. The Trader Joe's ran out of lemons the other day, so I just got a bag of limes. So I like to shake things up. So let's talk about honest eating. See, I made that up the other day when I noticed so many people have so much dishonesty when it comes to food and eating. And what do I mean by that? You know, people are, not letting themselves eat when they're hungry. They're, pushing off their hunger, making themselves wait. So I feel like something about that is being dishonest with ourselves. And there are many reasons why people might do that. Another example of being dishonest could be like if you're full and you're noticing that you're full and you're continuing to eat anyway. That's another example of being dishonest. Or, this is really good. Or when you force yourself to eat something when you really wish you could eat something else. I know I've certainly done that in the past. So to me, those are all examples of dishonest eating. And I also believe there's dishonest eating. Dishonest living. Well, where instead of doing and being who you want to be, you're showing up in this world as who you think you should be, or you're doing what you think you should do. So I'm excited to talk about this with you, and I'm excited to get your opinions. So feel free to comment on anything I'm saying, because this just came up the other day and I just wanted to share my thoughts as we eat our meal. So I know we're just getting started, so take a moment and try to assess where you are in terms of hunger and fullness before you're starting this meal. Me, I am a 4, just starting, at a 3. I'm pretty hungry. I'm almost in that danger zone. I had a snack while I was preparing this meal because I was already hungry. So right now I'm pretty darn hungry. I'm excited to get started and enjoy this meal. So for you, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being starving, 10 being stuffed, where are you on that scale? So take a moment to check in with your body and just identify where you are. I want to remind you to do that as we're eating, so you can watch yourself and feel yourself getting more and more satisfied. And I also want you to remind you to take a moment to take in the senses of your food. My food is no longer that warm. I wish it was. I had to set up some of the camera stuff, but it's still kind of warm. But the colors are just so beautiful to me, the different textures. I made a stir fry for myself, so I have the vegetables and some stir fry sauce here. I even cooked the chicken in some of that stir fry sauce, and I have some brown rice. I love this. It's one of my favorite meals. What are you having? I love to hear the creative things that you guys have. So please share the creative and the not so creative things that you're eating. So the problem with the dishonest eating is that it keeps you out of touch. Keeps you out of touch with yourself. It makes food feel scary because you're not being honest with yourself. You're not being present with yourself. The rules are coming from outside, so food seems like something that has to be controlled. And I feel like it's an unembodied way to live, you know, when you're trying to consult your brain of how you should be eating or what you should be eating. Again, you don't have to not consult your brain, but when people are coming too much from their heads and eating in a way that they feel like they should, or eating an amount that they feel like they should, that could be really problematic. It can make food, instead of being this like mindful thing, this presence thing, this sensual thing, it makes it feel a lot more forced, more of a brain activity, not as fun, not as enjoyable. If you're not enjoying your food, if you're not eating present, like in a present way, if you're not enjoying your food, you're not going to be satisfied. And if you're not going to feel satisfied, if you're not feeling satisfied, chances are that you'll continue eating and eating. So it's really wise to eat in a presence kind of way, to be honest with yourself, because you're more likely to enjoy your food and get greater satisfaction from your food. Speaking of your food, how is it? You know, it's interesting. I'm asking you to eat with me and I'm asking you to eat mindful. So it's kind of a multitasking kind of thing. But I hope my reminders help you to remember to check in. So let's talk about how to eat honestly, you know. And I think it all really begins in getting honest with your hunger. And what I mean by that is really giving yourself permission to eat when you first get hungry. Not pushing it off until an arbitrary time, not making yourself wait. So that really means learning how to connect with your body. I talk a lot about this with my clients and helping them learn how to read the signals of their body, learn the difference between hunger and other triggers that might feel like hunger. I do a lot of work with my clients. I think I even made a video about knowing the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. That really helps. That really helps increase the confidence of you honoring your hunger. And, you know, people believe that the rules that they have from their diets are smarter than the body. And what I want you to know, no, nothing is more sophisticated and as accurate as when you need to eat and how much you need to eat and even what to eat as your body. So learning how to consult it is so wise, it's so important. So I also feel part of being honest with your hunger is giving yourself permission to eat when you first get hungry, and also giving yourself food that you believe will be satisfying. Food that you believe will energize you. Food that you believe will taste good, that you'll enjoy eating, that'll make your body feel good. And again, these questions, like when you're on a diet, it doesn't work this way. The diet tells you when to eat, how much to eat. I remember I used to look at menus and like scan for whatever diet I was on. I was trying to find something that followed the rules. You know, and after you're dieting for so many years, there's so many rules you might be following. There might not be that many things in the kitchen or in the menu that match up. And when you pick that thing based on your diet or that program, usually it's not so satisfying. And what did we say earlier? When you're not satisfied, it makes it really hard to stop eating. So I want you to start to become a little bit more honest about, or a lot more honest about what you're craving, what you feel will satisfy you, what you feel will energize you, and give you the nutrients you need to get through your day. Because we're going through a pandemic right now, as you know. And now's not the time, you know, not to give yourself proper fuel. You know, there's a lot going on in life with your family, with your work, with the community, with health, and you need to be present. It's not time for you to be distracted by calories or points or carbs or whatever. So if you struggle with food obsession or a lot of thoughts about food, I'm talking to you. This is extra important for you to check in and give yourself what you're truly wanting and eating enough of it, because that's the only way to get rid of that food obsession. So speaking of food, how are you doing? Let's take a moment to check in, see how your food is. I'm really enjoying this. I love my cooking. I really do. I really enjoy it. So I'm happy that I had some time to cook something today. How's your food? Notice the taste, the texture. I love this instant brown rice. I love the texture of it because it's like so chewy, and something about that is just so satisfying. My chicken came out pretty good. I like that I used some seasoning. Usually I'm kind of bland with that, so I'm happy that this has a little bit more flavor today. So delicious. And I love this variety of vegetables. So fun, so full of color and texture. I love the way it goes together. By the way, I know some people are asking to see what I eat in a day. And I've been thinking about that. And I want to do that in a way so that you're not comparing yourself to me and trying to make yourself eat the same thing, because each day is so different. So I'm still thinking about that. That's still a project on hold. But in the meantime, I hope you could practice this honest, sensual eating with me. As you're eating, even take a moment to check in with your body. How's your body feeling? Where are you in that scale? I'm still hungry. Like, eating this is really easy. The momentum feels good. I love that I'm taking my time with you. That we're having this conversation. So give yourself a chance to check in. What number are you? I guess I'm approaching a 4 or a 5. You know, I'm still hungry, closer to neutral, but I still want to keep going. So let's talk about how to be honest with fullness. I think a lot of people, you know, that is a really sexy topic, is about you learning how to feel your fullness and actually stop when you're full. A lot of people struggle with that for many reasons. So obviously we're not going to cover everything today, but I want to help you learn how to feel your satisfaction and actually be able to stop. And by the way, that begins, being honest with your fullness, begins with being honest with your hunger. In other words, giving yourself permission to eat when you first get hungry is a really important key step in helping you be present with your food and actually notice your fullness and actually stop. So, you know, eating when you first get hungry really helps you feel your fullness, enjoy your food, and all these things. So, I'm giving away the other things. Other things that help you feel your satisfaction and actually be able to stop is really taking your time with the food. Look at me. Look how slow I'm going. It's true, not 100% of my meals am I so luxurious like this and taking all this time. But because I do this, because I practice this from time to time, I know how to stay present, even if I have less time. So give yourself the space and the time to really have a pleasurable meal. Give yourself what you really want, enjoy every bite, and have reminders to check in. You know, that's why a candle could be helpful, because when I look at the candle, it's so relaxing, it's so nice. It reminds me to relax, to check into my body. You know, I've had clients put a little note on the table reminding them to breathe. Speaking of breathing, how is your breathing while you're eating? You know, when you're really hungry, we're kind of inhaling our food. So take a moment to breathe, to check in. Take your time. You have taste buds. They're there for a reason. Food is meant to be pleasurable. It's okay to take pleasure in it. I feel like in our world today, it's almost taboo to be present, to enjoy your food, and to say, you know? So say it with me if your food is good. You know, sometimes I feel like when I say I could taste it even better. I think something about the vibration of the word allows me to taste my food better. So I hope that's helpful in helping you feel your fullness and actually be able to stop. About being able to stop. Sometimes for some people, some sadness comes up that the meal is over. I know I've talked about this in other of my videos, but I think it's appropriate to talk about it here. And I think not enough people talk about it. So let's take some time to talk about it. Sometimes for people, eating is the only creative, sensual thing that uses the senses, non-work, non-pressury thing they do all day. You know, it's only time they actually get to sit and get a break. And sometimes when that break is over, it could be heartbreaking. It could be sad a little bit. A part of you, some people call it their inner child. It's kind of like, no, you know, I don't want it to be over. And if that happens, that's okay. Nothing is wrong with you. I actually want you to anticipate sometimes feeling bummed at the end of the meal. And sometimes just anticipating is enough. If you notice you feel bummed, sometimes people don't notice it. And they feel so bummed, to help them feel with like that angst, they go back and they end up eating more. So I want you to expect it. And I want you to take a few breaths and be nice to that part of you that's kind of bummed that the meal is over. Sometimes following your eating with a pleasant activity could be great. A book that you love, your pet, you know, checking up, spending time with your pet. For me, it'll be watering my plants, you know. So having an activity that is also nurturing is a great way to get through that feeling of bummed that your meal is over. It's real. So let's have a moment of silence as I continue eating. Also give you a chance to eat without my blah, blah, blah. So what do you think about this conversation about honest eating? You know, again, I feel like there's so many other meal plans out there. How about a meal plan that's about being honest with yourself and being honest with your body? And in being honest with yourself and honest with your body, it means you have to start knowing yourself. So honest eating and honest living are not really that different. You know, the harder time that you have becoming present in your body, I wonder if there are other areas of your life that you might not be present with or honest with. And so eating is such a great place to start being honest with yourself. This piece of cabbage is a little too big. You know, many people that I work with, that was loud. Not only is food a place where they struggle, but they might go to jobs that they hate. Or they may not be communicating freely with their partner. Or they hang out with people that they feel like they should instead of who they really want to spend time with. So, you know, I feel like food is one of the best metaphors for how we're living life. So take a look at your eating and the issues and the troubles that you're having with food, and see if there's any other area of your life that you're experiencing the same thing. So let's take a pause. I'm going to take a pause. You don't have to do what I tell you to do. Obviously. I'm starting to get more full. I'm starting to get more satisfied. And here, you get to watch my sadness come up. I'm sad because this will be over, and I'm really enjoying talking to you. Ooh, I love this limeade. Yum. Actually, I want to take a moment to breathe, because just imagine, you know, how would your life be different if you could actually trust your hunger and actually let yourself eat when you feel hungry? And you didn't play that game of, you know, pushing it off. How amazing would that be, to be in that kind of flow? How about, you know, picking meals where you consider your wants, your cravings, your preferences, your body, foods you feel that will energize you and make you feel satisfied? You know, how will things be different for you when you could trust that you'll stop eating when you're comfortably satisfied? How great will that be? I love having that ability. I love that I do that consistently, you know, that I stop when I'm comfortably satisfied. All day I get to feel comfortable in my own skin. For the most part. I mean, sometimes I might eat something that might make me gassy a little bit, but for the most part, you know, nothing is 100%. And how will your life be different when you could be honest and true to yourself? You know, I know some of you have seen my sign that I have behind me in some of my videos that says follow your heart. And I really feel like there's something to that, even in the world of eating. There's something about being clear and honest with yourself, with your life and your intentions, that when you do a better job of that, it makes it easier to listen to your body. There isn't that disconnect. So, starting to get full. I'm bummed about it. I've enjoyed this meal with you. I want you to notice something, by the way. I'm leaving food on my plate. And for a lot of people, this could be a real challenge. So I want you to see how it's done. I too feel like, oh, that's so wasteful. It's fresh right now. I should eat it now. As you can tell, I'm eating at home. So this is gonna be really easy for me to pack up. But sometimes when you're on the road, that's not an option. Or sometimes if it's food that isn't as good later, it could really suck. This is actually a really easy meal to do this with. But I just want to acknowledge, you know, that could be a challenge for some people. And to, like, if you're full and you have extra food on your plate and that feeling comes up for you, I know that could be a challenge. And maybe in another video I'll go in more depth. But I just want to demonstrate what it's like to leave food on the plate once I'm done eating. I'm not done yet. So now I'm like a 6, comfortable level of satisfaction. I still feel comfortable in my body. I still feel like there's space to eat some more, so I'm not totally full. Like, I'm satisfied. I might want to take a few more bites to feel more of that satisfaction, more into fullness, because I like that. But I'm still feeling comfortable in my body. How are you feeling in your body? How'd you feel about this conversation about, you know, honest eating? I think it's a skill, you know, I think it's a skill. But the best place to start with this skill of wanting to eat more honestly, and I don't want to make you sound or feel like a bad guy if you're not being honest or whatever. That is not my intention of this video, not at all. But I just wanted to bring up some topics. But I feel like if you like this idea of eating honestly, you know, allowing yourself to eat when you first get hungry, stopping when you're satisfied, giving yourself what you truly want, and maybe even living honestly, a great place to start is by setting an intention. By setting the intention. So maybe for a day, you set the intention of whenever I feel hungry, I'm gonna let myself eat. Or maybe you take a weekend and you give yourself permission to consider what your body is craving and giving yourself more of what you feel will truly satisfy you. Or maybe you take a day out of the week and you tell yourself, I'm really gonna pay attention to my food and be present with it so that I can feel my satisfaction, I'll actually stop, right? So I could give you tons of examples. I'd love to know what you decide to do. So please comment below. I'm full now, so bye. I'm done with this food. Comment below. Some things I wanna know is, what did you get out of this video? What are you eating? What do you want to experiment with? I love your feedback, and your feedback really makes a big difference for me. It lets me know that you like these videos, that you like what I'm doing, so thank you to everybody who has been leaving me feedback. If you enjoyed this video and you want to stay in my world, I invite you to subscribe, because I'd love to have you as part of my world. So thank you so much for watching. This has been a great pleasure. Bye.